We're joined now by the leader of the Conservatives, Kemi Badenoch. Terrible, terrible case. The sentencing yesterday, a 21-year sentence.
Well, a life sentence with a minimum of 21 years.
The father's kind of statement in the court afterwards was so powerful, so emotional. He said, as part of that he didn't want politics to exploit his son's murder. Is that what Nigel Farage is doing?
So we should not make this about Nigel Farage. This is about Henry Novak. And I listened to his father, and it was absolutely heartbreaking. And this morning I watched that body cam footage, and I just kept thinking, what if that was my boy? That his last moments were spent in handcuffs. He knew he was dying, and he could see the confusion, his attacker claiming that he had been a racist. It's an awful, awful way for anyone to die. And I don't think anyone should, it doesn't matter whether it's politicians or the police or the public, the first place we need to start is what that boy had gone through and what his family is going through. Now, what Nigel Farage is saying completely misunderstands that when the case is happening, politicians, he is a politician, by the way, he should stop pretending that he's not. He's a politician like everyone else. We wait until the sentencing before we say what we think so that we don't impact the case. Sure. That's why I'm here this morning. That case shows that something has gone very horribly wrong with policing, and I think I know why. I think that in 2020, 2021, there was a response to the George Floyd murders that has overcorrected and caused a lot of problems. I put out a report.
Black Lives Matter?
Yes.
Nigel Farage said today it should be White Lives Matter. Are you making the same point?
It should be everyone matters. It should be everyone matters. I put out a report in 2021 saying that our country is not racist and our police are not institutionally racist. A report, from the 90s said that they had been at the time, but in 2020 and even now, they are not. I had meetings with the National Police Chiefs Council, the Met, the Association of Police and Crime Commissioners, the College of Policing, telling them that a lot of the race action plans that they had brought in because of the BLM movement were going to cause more problems. And they had been warned. They have advisors telling them that they're overseeing their race action plans, activists, and it has overcorrected. And I think the training that many of these police are having don't have any common sense in them. We need to bring back common sense. You don't need to be trained on racism or anti-racism to have seen what Henry was experiencing and know that he needed help. You don't need it. Something has gone wrong with policing. But we all need to take a good, long, hard look at ourselves. It is not just the police. I remember when this movement was happening and I was saying we are creating different rules for different people. All of the people who were taking the knee about a man who died in another country should think about doing the same here. We need to bring back equality under the law. What Nigel Farage is doing is reinforcing the difference. I have said that we need to find what we have in common, not what separates us. I don't want to hear about Black Lives Matter. I don't want to hear about White Lives Matter. We all matter. Enough of this nonsense where we keep separating everybody and splitting people into different groups. We are descending into tribalism. I do not want that. It is why I say that we should be a multiracial country, not a multicultural country. Let's have one shared culture, British culture. How the police treat everyone should not matter depending on the colour of their skin. And we shouldn't pretend that racism is something that only happens to ethnic minorities. It happens to everybody, black or white. What I do not like is seeing Nigel Farage jump on this issue when he doesn't do any work, he doesn't turn up to Parliament, he doesn't take things seriously, but he sees this as an opportunity for him to grandstand. I am not grandstanding. I will say that a lot more needs to be done. Policing is operationally independent. I think we need to look a bit more at what is going on in terms of how the police are conducting themselves. There are many hundreds of thousands of great police officers out there. I think we should be specific about what these officers did. There are many good police officers who help people of all colours and all religions every single day.
So to be clear, when Henry's dad says we shouldn't use his son's murder for a political purpose, and you're saying that Nigel Farage is doing that.
We should not be...
Are you doing that as well, or are you saying something about policing?
So I'm talking about how we need to change policing. I'm not making this about the Conservative Party, but I'm also not making this about white people or black people. I think it was wrong for him to do that. We have been racializing too many things. And I did say it at the time, for a lot of the people who were pushing for more specific policies for black people, for Asians, for ethnic minorities, that a backlash will come. If you encourage people to think about themselves as being part of a group defined by their skin color, you will encourage everybody to do that. And we are seeing more of this, especially online. We're seeing more of this. We see ethno-nationalism rising, where people are saying, well, if ethnic minorities are going to do this, if black people or Asians or Muslims are doing this, we'll do this for white people as well. Nigel Farage is taking sides. I'm not taking sides. I'm saying enough of this. We need to stop this racializing of our society. We are multiracial, yes, but we need to stop using race as a way of defining laws, as a way of hiring people. Let's treat everyone equally. No two-tier policing. No believing that racism only happens to ethnic minorities. It happens to everyone. And the police need to be trained like that. Not with the terrible anti-racism training, which is just reverse racism and reverse discrimination. We need to root it out of the system. I did my bit when I was in government. More needs to be done. And we need to look at how independent the police are on this. I don't think that these things should be allowed, the police should be allowed just to do it independently. I think others need to go in, and that will require politicians and perhaps legislation.
And there is now an inquiry into what on earth the police thought they were doing when they told Henry Novak that they didn't think he'd been stabbed when he absolutely had and was lying dying. Okay,
it's upsetting.
It's incredibly upsetting.
It's upsetting. I have a 9-year-old boy. In 10 years, he'll be about that age. He is half black, half white. I bring him up to believe that this country is one where he belongs, and he belongs to every group that he wants to be, and that he should never worry about how he'll be treated. And you see that video, and you think, how can we tell our children these things? I want that to be the reality, and that's what I'm fighting for.
Talking to you now, we can feel your upset and your anger. And we all feel upset and angry about this terrible case. But I feel also that what Nigel Farage is doing live on our televisions today is also making you angry.
It is making me angry, because that's not how we solve this. That's not how we solve this. We can't solve it by whipping people up. We can't solve it by making them angry. I do think that politicians need to stop being scared of talking about these things. I've never been scared to talk about it. I remember at the time when Keir Starmer and Angela Rayner were taking the knee. That's not what we're there for. We're not there to virtue signal and do symbolism. We are there to look at the detail. I put out a report saying what was wrong with policing, and instead, the people who helped write it were called race traitors. They were attacked for saying that this country is not racist. I was attacked for saying this country is not racist, that there are other problems that we need to look at that are causing disparities. But racism is not the thing that is making our country poorer, that's taking us backwards. We need to stop importing a lot of American issues into the UK.